Hello everyone, we are playing Legacy 2nd Edition with the Gauntlet. This is a game of the Gauntlet Community, which you can find out in the description of this video, links to. I want to remind everyone that the Gauntlet Community has an inclusivity policy that is in effect on this game. We also are going to be using the X card and script change, as well as we have established lines and veils, which will be in place during the game. And if anyone has need to add something, they can just add it to the tab, and we'll take that into consideration for everyone's safety. We we have seen how the first stage played out and the layout of the families that ended up with the return of the enclave of the Sandstorm. And during the last session, we explored the expeditionary adventures of the Tyrant Kings, the Sledgehammers, as well as their scientific advisors of the Sandstorm. This time we go back to the homelands and we see how things changed on the last years since the expedition departed, and what is the new homeland that the Sandstorm returns to. And we gonna start with the trials and tribulation of the second age. So both the Hadik and the Bennu showed roll for trials and fortunes, and that is done by rolling plus mood. So let's see how everyone fared.
I got a 5. It's a hard,
I got a 6.
Okay,
the hard
so
age.
yeah, I guess the Sledgehammer stole way too much, and maybe that leadership really did not work out. So because you got less than 7, each of you has to pick 2 trials, and this is what your family has been enduring as the age turns.
Okay, I'm going to take the plague. Plague ravaged your family, and no other families could help. Afterward, they promise aid in the future. Gain 3 treaties split between any families you wish, but take need medicine. And I haven't decided on the second one yet.
And who are you giving the treaty?
I think I'm going to just split it 1-1-1.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to mark the need.
I obviously have to take your family fell apart into feuding factions. The eventual victors are stronger, more unified, but lacking refinement. And I gain 1 grasp and surplus leadership, but I need culture.
So I think your character is going to be the leader after this period of civil war.
I think my second one might be that the disasters scattered my family. So we abandoned our holdings, but we know how to stay hidden better than ever. Gives us +1 slate and surplus reconnaissance. We need land as well. We probably got chased out of that or train station.
What happens when you take a need that you already have?
I don't think. I think I erased the need for land because
okay.
we gained the train station, right? Then we lost it again. So.
Okay, that was really short-lived.
Yeah.
Maybe it was destroyed during the attack of the storm crawlers because you use it to share holders with the sandstorm, like the train station.
Yeah, we shared that, and we thought we drove off and fortified it, but probably not good enough. Or maybe it could also be that we fell out with the Enclave in Sandstorm because they didn't tolerate our infighting and stuff. Because then maybe the Sandstorm still have access to the train station, but we're not welcome there anymore.
Well, the Sandstorm does not have access to much. They went into exile. So it's probably just either in the hands of a splitter faction of the Haddock or just consumed by the wild beasts.
I like that Splinter faction, actually. That sounds fun.
And in between the ages, we were so ravaged by this plague that I think the Hadik subsumed us. And we've only managed to very recently break away back into our own family faction. So the Hadik gets 2 treaty on me, and I'm going to go ahead and look at the full playbook and pick a move. So, as Bjorn, if you want to add 2 to...
That puts me up to 5 treaty with you.
Good God.
Yeah, we're the treaty.
My numbers are high too. We got to start cashing those in.
I don't think that's what they intended on the first stage when they wanted to reconnect the family ties.
Yeah.
Okay, so the situation is pretty grim for the homelands, and the second age starts much dimmer than the first one hinted. All the optimism of the fusion reactor was gone. The promises of the research on Tapad gone. The people tend to wonder. There is scarcity into levels that have not exist since the beginning of the world after the fall. And worst of all is that everyone is afraid of even rebuilding, because everyone is afraid that once a settlement gets advanced technological enough, the energy is going to pull back the storm crawlers and they'll destroy everything. So we have a world without defenders, as the sledgehammers are gone, and we only have rising inequality as everything seems to be breaking apart. And it's in this world that the sandstorm returns with intriguing news. So I would say you can go ahead and start making characters. But before anything else, let's do the Hadik move. Oh, actually, no. Before we do that, you have the opportunity of change the train lifestyle, gear, and tradition of your family as the age changes. Is anyone doing that?
Maybe the Hadik have become nomadic. And maybe also I should change the governance. Maybe it's I can. Do I have to pick or can I make up the options or?
I mean, just feel free to change from the other options. Yeah, just like you can change. Yeah, I guess you also want to change the tradition of leadership and whatnot. Also, what tradition has developed in the homelands to celebrate the second age? It's an age of fear and darkness, but the people needs to stay together somehow. What form of culture or tradition they create? This one is for the table.
I think it'd be fun if Alan told us what our new tradition was, since he's only here for one session.
Mm-hmm. And he does not...
I'm putting human sacrifice on the table because it seems to me that technology has let you down. And so I see this drift towards a more primitive culture. Because didn't someone develop a need for some culture? Yeah, well, that's because you've started killing the weak.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
could very well be, or maybe it's in a sort of a metaphoric way. We to make sure that all our members are strong, we subject them to trials that quite often do end up being more or less sacrifice.
Yeah,
maybe
it's always a loser.
Yeah, maybe it's even the initiation process is getting these horrible nematodes injected into you. So the byproduct of that can be these horrible mutilated, changed beings that are cast out. What a horrible!
Yeah. I think that's cool.
So a sacrifice of humanity, even when it's not literal human sacrifice. So what the sandstorm does once they arrive to the homelands?
So this is after the discovery of the highway?
Yes.
What happened? Okay.
Because, you know, the sledgehammers are now committed to the highway and they are no longer in the expedition, but there is also, other than, you know, the few scholars that are immersed within, the sandstorm still does not have to commit themselves to the same degree, so they are able to go back to the homelands.
Yeah, even in the last session, I also mentioned, the sandstorm. So because we want to advance our medical technology, we were also in need of actual research on corpses or cadavers. So it was kind of morbid. They were looking for that, and now they come back into the homelands, and they see this. So this is almost like initiation, or this ritual that. Is this something that both the Hadik and the Bennu have developed? This injecting the nematodes in their youngsters, or is it part of them to see if they're strong enough? Is it like an experiment for the sake of empowering humanity? Is that what they're doing?
I think it's up to Scott if they continued with it, but they certainly were subjected to it when they were enslaved, I think. So how do you...
I liked it the way that Asbjorn originally kind of lined it up. That was pretty great. And so, yeah, it's, it's now a thing we do as well. Since we were subsumed into them, we've kept that tradition alive.
Yeah, so I think the Sandstorm might even, I think they will want to take advantage of the. Well, of course, initially we gave the nematodes to the Hadik, so we have that technology. But I think we'd like to, to regain our footing in the settlement. We will want to somehow use this ritual in our advantage. Still thinking about it. If anyone has an idea.
I'm not sure it's an idea to answer your question specifically, but I'm curious whether the plague and the nematodes are connected, and how that plays into your medical advancement thing.
That's right. Also, the Bennu needs medicine because of the plague. That's a good. That's a good point. So I think, we'd like to perhaps, because I think we also had shared custody of the fusion reactor with the Bennu. I think we'd like to leverage our medicine to gain more of to regain our footing in the settlement, and specifically in the area around the fusion reactor. So maybe either diplomacy or try to make a deal with the Bennu. So medicine for more access to the again to enter the settlement again and be able to do experiments in the reactor.
So, from what I understand, you're trying to was sufficiently advanced to create medicine. First of all,
we did have some, but I can also roll to see if I can find a cure for the plague. Yeah, I can also do that before, and use that as a leverage afterwards with the Bennu.
Okay.
So that could be uncover secrets. I'm not sure that's uncover secrets. Or
No,
research for the.
Just roll sufficiently advanced then plus power. It should start at 3.
Plus grasp or okay.
Oh no, use your move sufficiently advanced.
Okay.
So how much power are we investing on healing the Bennu plague?
Oh, okay. So yeah, now I see it. Yeah, I forgot about this.
Well, I think that investment was covered by the treaty, right? So.
No. The enclave has.
It's a separate. Yeah. So basically, I choose one. Yeah, medical. I'm trying to invent or share medical treatments able to cure.
For you. Nice.
Yeah. So. I think we'll use 2. So 2 power. So,
okay. Roll plus 2.
Yeah.
How did you decide that you recharge power? I think it was the corpses.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think we already are doing some secret sacrifices ourselves. It was a mystic sacrifice, yeah. So maybe.
Yeah.
So I have a 9 plus 2 and 11. So.
Oh, good. So it works perfectly. So describe exactly what you create.
So let's see there. I think it's some kind of powder that you inhale, and then you have to basically make a small how is it called, the when you have to put it in your bloodstream. So so it's some kind of solution that the patient has to be using for a while until the plague is receding, and then they still have to use it. So I think it's a powder that's a solution, and it takes 1 to 3 months to completely remove the plague.
Okay, so get surplus medicine.
Okay, I have that. Okay, not the menu yet.
Yeah. Now the menu learned that you have developed this cure. So how did the menu react to the arrival of the sandstorm and their claim that they have developed a cure to their disease? This would be not be the first time that the other family disappoints them. Scott?
I'm going to hold my reaction for during the age, because I think I'm going to probably send some agents over there to try to weaken them.
Oh, so you don't want to try to call in a debt. You want to actually take it from them.
That's. I think I if that's okay with the table. I want to try to play it out during the age, if that's all right.
Okay, let's zoom in then.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So if we are advancing to zoom in,
I have quick questions.
Yeah.
Do the existing surpluses and needs change at all, other than the ones that are changed by moves of our own?
That's the thing. They only change based on trials on fortunes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And just so you know, one of my moves, I got the need motivation. I got the surplus motivation, and because I faced 2 trials, I have 2 hold. And each hold will allow me to add advantage to a move. So.
But you also got a move, right?
And I got a move from the and I got to copy and paste that. It's actually the one that the Hidik have already there.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If we're gonna actually start before we zoom out, we're gonna do the culture move of the Hadik.
Yeah, because that's the one I. That's
yeah.
The one I grabbed.
Okay, so we're gonna have to do the culture move of the Hadik and the Banyo.
So let's
okay. Yeah, let's resolve that move first then.
All right. So I can use it's actually still only the once again I have only got the barter goods and I already have livestock. I don't know if there's a need for more livestock from but we could talk about a little bit about the evolutionary leap move, because every time the age turns, I get to pick one physical trait my family has encountered during this age, and we provide a downside. So, and my family members will all exhibit that trait from then on. So they really do get changed. And yeah, right now I don't quite remember what the nematodes did. They made you faster, is that right?
It was general enhancement. At least it was what they were before. But considering what you probably tempered with, they can be causing more drastic transformations.
I was thinking it could be something weird like photosynthesis. Could actually make sense for some gardeners. So I guess that would mean that they can never really starve.
Yeah, also it makes sense since you are now nomads, you don't have exactly places to grow crops, so you need to move the crops on the move. Okay. So what do
You
the
should
benefits?
provide the downside.
Yeah. Yeah, the downside is that it tends to cause massive lethargy because it's hard to function as as an active animal and produce photosynthesis on the same time. So it's becoming more and more common, especially as one ages, to become more and more sedentary and lethargic and slowly shut down.
Rooted, as it were.
Yeah, rooted, as we told one could say. Uh, but short term, yeah, the youngs of the Haddock, they have vitality and strength like nothing else. Problem is, by the time they get to 40s, they start to lay down roots. And what are the Benu cultivating?
We're erasing our surplus in barter goods, and we harvest um, barter goods back, obviously, but then we also we trade for some um, livestock, um, giving us a surplus there, and we also a couple of them were quite good, and over the age adapted to the sea, and they get. I'm actually changing from the um, no, I'll take them as mounts. So I'll take them as mounts with one quality as their tag. So all right, and I'm out of room for.
So are they the beavers of the Haddock or something else?
I think they are the beavers, but they're they're larger. They've grown over time. Ample food sources and very few natural predators now, and we've discovered that our scouts can ride on them.
Okay, so we're gonna zoom in. So we are. So okay, so paint the scene, Scott. What are the Bennu trying to get from the sandstorm, and how are they trying to do it?
So they have some medicine. They're known to have a surplus of it, and we are going to um, we're going to send. What is that family move?
Oh, subterfuge, you don't want to zoom in. I think this is the case to zoom in.
Yeah, that's what I want to do is subterfuge.
Okay, let's resolve this subterfuge first, then we zoom in instead.
Okay.
If there's need to. Okay, so roll plus slide.
I do everything difficult. Of course, I always choose something that I don't have a bonus in. Oh, I got a 10.
Okay, so what do you get off the list?
I'm going to cause a scandal within the family. And I think, let's see, let me take a peek. Well, maybe I want to work with Vasily on exactly what that scandal would be, you know, how their culture's structured. And 7 to 9, the GM names. Okay, so I don't leave any information behind on a 10, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So Vasilis,
what do you think? What kind of scandal would make sense to rack the factions within your family?
Well, so the Sandstorm, we are it's a meritocracy based on skill and research. I don't know, perhaps.
Alan is dark today. Eating brains and doing human sacrifice. Good God, what did France do to you, man?
It's the good food.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Vasily, but geez Louise. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Perhaps I don't know if you planned this, but it could be that some of the people in the Sandstorm, they are. So the meritocracy is supposed to be very open, and we share all knowledge. But there's a rumor that a part of us has kept secrets from the others in terms of research. But I don't know if that's enough. Let's see.
Maybe, sorry, maybe the suggestion that someone has been selling the cure that you designed for the venue. So maybe there's a suggestion that someone has been selling it to the Gilded Merchants or some other faction.
So that we've commercialized. Someone has commercialized the research without first getting the approval of the. I'm good with that. Yeah, if Scott is also.
That sounds good. So yeah, they're enriching just themselves as opposed to the whole community. Yeah, I like that.
And is that also how you justify that you got hold of it, or the venue is still not? I think the venue is still not involved in this at all, right? So we don't even know that you got hold of it, okay, because you rolled yeah.
And you know, our agents went in and planted the seed of that idea in that faction's mind or whatever, you know. Convince them, oh, we can do this. No one will find out. We'll gain a little more power at the next, you know, whatever parliamentary meeting or whatever.
So can I just ask then? So have you claimed by force that medicine resource?
I haven't.
Right. Okay.
I've created a problem for them that they'll have to resolve, hopefully, in this age. An internal problem. So, and they don't know it was me. Thank goodness. There was a really high risk move on my part because I always roll low.
Okay, so let's make it personal. How, knowing this involvement on this and these rumors going around, how does Nerico react to this?
Well, it's interesting if he would be one of the ones to blame, because he was already he didn't handle the highway expansion very, very delicately. So I wonder if he's on the receiving end of this scandal. Perhaps he's one of the ones that is being accused for revealing the secret. I think he would be. So he's under criticism. People are talking about him, sharing the knowledge.
So how Nerico feels about having this pinned on him, because he knows it's not him. Does he try to find who's doing this? Does he try to redeem the family somehow, or he just does not care?
Yeah, I think he wants to investigate I don't know if this is just a rumor, or we've seen or heard rumors that the plague has been cured. Some people who had the plague are getting better in other factions. Maybe not the Bennu, but somewhere. And that's why people are starting to blame me in the family, because we never revealed that. We haven't revealed that to the community yet. So I think he will investigate. He will try to go to the places where the plague seems to be receding.
So, does he go to Bridgetown to investigate, or does Neric uses the resources of the family, like on an uncover secret or something?
I think if he's being accused, he will not have access to a lot of the. So I think it's more of a side, like his own gamble to do this, and then bring back evidence.
Okay, so before we zoom in, what is the question that Neric wants clarified after the end of this investigation?
Basically, who took the medicine without approval and who framed me? That's
okay. So we're gonna be zoning him as Nerico, and I think unless someone wants to send their main characters and a bunch of quick characters from the Sandstorm, we're gonna zoom in after a break. Let's take a 10 minutes break, and then we zoom in straight into action.
Great.
Okay, so which main characters are in the scene?
Could you do a quick recap of the setup? Oh,
So the objective of the scene is that Neruko is going to Bridgetown to find out where the rumors about these black market dealings and his supposition as suspect are coming from. So obviously Neruko is there, but are there any other main characters there?
Where is the black market at?
It will be in Bridgetown, that remains of a bridge, which is the main trade community in the
Right.
homelands.
Yeah, if it's in Bridgetown, then I think there's a possibility that Marsh Rose might be there.
Okay, this is interesting because we all know who did this. So, what are their goals in being there? Because we know Neruko's goals.
She's at Bridgetown actually for her own personal goals. Let's see, she wants to explore, so she's just there. She's not there as an agent or anything, but she's aware of the family's involvement in what's happened. So
Okay, so yeah, but give me something concrete that she wants to accomplish during this scene.
So the outsider. I think for her, once she sees them, what she's going to want to accomplish is ensuring that their strife continues. So just kind of working as surreptitiously as she can. She's not an agent or anything, but to keep them from completely working on their goals here.
Okay.
You mean the sandstorm or
Neruko, I think.
Neruko? Okay.
Noriko themselves, but yeah, then the sandstorm by extension.
Yeah, maybe to throw someone else as possible candidate or something.
How dangerous is Bridgetown?
We're gonna be establishing that. Before that, I guess Hakim is not there.
I was thinking about. I'm not quite sure what her motivations are yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna steal anyone's thunder.
Yeah, it's fine. Then Alon and Asbjorn, you make quick characters of the Bad New or the Sandstorm. Now, going back to Alan's question, we see Bridgetown, and it's always been a place of inequality. It's always been a place where the people that cannot make their own on the homelands clutter to. It's always filled to the despair, and all that was kept in place by the sledgehammers. So, Alon, now that people are growing more and more despaired, as people have less and less, and the merchants of the gilded spires of the top of the bridge get richer and richer, how people that have no other resources deal with life in Bridgetown?
Of course, my go-to answer should be cannibalism, but I'm going to try and get off that track if I can. I think that there is a thriving underclass of thieves and rogues who steal from the rich and keep the poor going. I mean, in this time of despair, I think it's time to put a bit of light in the tunnel. So I think they're more Robin Hood than Mafia, though the boundary might be quite tricky to navigate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there are probably criminal clans that operate, protecting small neighborhoods of Bridgetown, and stealing or sponsoring the stealing of stuff that the populace needs.
Interesting. So as we zoom into the markets of Bridgetown, so what do we see, Asbjorn, being sold and traded that confirms that the monopolies that the first stage families hold so strongly have kind of lost their meaning?
Perhaps it's something maybe a little bit mundane, but you see fresh fruit actually being sold in the lower reaches. Used to be that only the rich could get fresh fruit. All the kids are sort of clamoring to get a bite, and it's you can see it raises their spirits.
So we see Neriko going through the underground, undercity, going from gang, because they know it is not known fact, but the Sandstorm financed many of those groups in their inception when they were freedom fighters against the sledgehammers before they moved to the homeland. So they know, they have ties, and they know that if there was someone actually selling something to the black market, it will be through them. So Neriko is going to the underbelly of Bridgetown, going from thief to thief, trying to get the sense of what is going on. And we also see someone else in the underground, someone that has many contacts on the smugglers that often use old Benio submarines. And we see marshals. So we're gonna start the scene. So Asbjorn and Alon, feel free to make quick characters of either of the two families, and you will toll up. Now, I think that we decided last session is that because you can take a lot of time tooling up, you can instead retroactively spend the surpluses bonus. So if during the action you actually say, well, I need this, you retroactively make the expense. So I think we should start setting the scene with Neriko. So Neriko, is anyone in particular that are you looking for?
I think there's a merchant that we've dealt with before. The Sandstorm has, and he knows of merchandise or hot merchandise that's going through Bridgetown. Actually, we are in contact with him for providing us with cadavers for what we do to power up our research. But he also would know. I think he would know. Any oddities or anything new that's going on to the market. So I want to find him. I probably know where he is, but I could also roll for a familiar face. I see there's a move for locating him. Perhaps he keeps moving because he's always on the run. He also has enemies, or perhaps even some of these Robin Hood clans. He might be on good terms with some, but he might also be. They might also be hunting him for. So I think I'm trying to trace him and asking around.
So give me a familiar face roll then to see how that goes.
All right, plus sway 1. So it's plus sway. So it's an 8. Let's see. On a 79, I picked 2. I will pick. So they're already interested in my predicament. So they've heard rumors of people, maybe not even in Bridgetown, of people getting cured on the plague from the plague. And the second one, somehow their status has been increased in the settlement. So he has connections. Let's name this guy. Any suggestions are open. I'm really bad with names. Yarek, or so I think I think I find him. Yeah, he even has a shack, which he actually has 2 guards. It's an upgrade. Last time he had a small weak. Last time he had a kid under his he was guarding him. Now he has 2 guards. So I think his influence or power within Bridgetown has increased. And I think when he finds me, he already knows why I'm there.
So, Mushrooms, you have problems with Yarrick. You received information that he is involved in the missing and possible death of some Benio. Why do your superiors think that?
I think he's been known to traffic in people in the past. And so that's why we strongly suspect his involvement.
Even with if that is the case, why old Yarrick receive you in his house?
I think I'm trying to broker a back alley deal. I want to Marshrows wants to explore the wasteland, so is looking to hire or acquire, trade for some scouts into the faction, and has come with some potential of some barter goods with him. So is there to make a deal. That's the outward story that everybody's aware of.
So you are inside the house and you are arguing with Yarrick. I can get you some scouts, but it's really hard to get people willing to work it. People are afraid of the Bennu. I was actually smuggling 3 Bennu out of the homelands, and they all dropped dead before we even crossed the first checkpoint across the drones. People are afraid of the plague. They are afraid that it's going to mutate and attack someone. It's really hard to get people to work for the homelands. I guess your best chance is probably if we can get some members of the Sandstorm to defect. I have contacts within the Sandstorm, and they know the rest of the world much better than anyone else. I mean, they came from outside, and they went with the cursed sledgehammers. I can maybe get you to meet a few of their people.
That would be useful. I think we would be most willing to sow some seeds of dissension, the goal of converting some of their maybe their younger, more brash citizens to our family.
So that's when Eric winters. Now, why would Yarrick be upset for seeing you?
Maybe he also is not sure if I was. Maybe he thinks that I distributed this cure. It's not publicly available anymore yet, but he has heard rumors of it, and he might be a bit offended that I circumvented here, because usually I would go through him to distribute as a favor for him providing us with corpses or other needs that we need under the table. He might not like the possibility that I went around him and I distributed this for my own benefit. So he, in a way, maybe he also is ready to accuse me.
Yeah. So as soon as Yarrick sees you enter, he shouts, "You damn back-dealing bastard!" And you reaches for his gun, and his guards also reach for their guns. So who else is accompanying these 2 leaders? So Alon, introduce your character for the scene.
Yeah, Harry is a sandstorm minder, because clearly Neriko shouldn't be allowed out on their own. And he's an outsider, and he's a minder in the sandstorm in 2 senses. 1, he looks after people, and 2, he has some psionic powers. So I've selected the outsider. My strange abilities are the ability to focus my psionic powers to do harm. So I roll force with advantage. Yeah, it kind of messes with my head and other people's heads. He's probably a little bit trigger happy.
Which inheritance move did you get from the Sandstorm?
Oh, good question. I don't think I looked. Hang on, back a minute.
Is it that you get +1 lore or +1 sway?
Yeah. I added 1 to steal.
Yeah, but then you also get a custom move from the list from the player book and book.
Okay, it's bygone law, isn't it? Okay, let's take the first one that comes to mind. Oh, it has to be weird science, doesn't it? Yeah.
I think I'm looking at the correct. Yeah, that sounds good to me. I hope it's the correct.
Sorry, do I take what? Is it a family? No, it's not a family move. I need.
It's an inheritance move.
Sorry.
They are at the bottom.
Yeah,
of,
I also confuse those.
Yeah. So it's on the first page.
Yeah, so it is. Oh, pain box. Yeah. Because, yeah, that probably focuses the psionics. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. That sounds interesting. And Asbjorn, who is there also assisting the venue?
Yeah, good question. I think what kind of names go good with the banner? Is there a special any real cultures or? I would say Nemo then. That seems appropriate. I think so we're here to maybe it's an enforcer, an agent with an expert in enforcement. So he's the muscle.
So guns are suddenly drawn on the member of the Sandstorm that just entered. What happens now?
I threaten them.
How?
Because, gosh, I'm looking for it. Too many pages. Because I think there's a diffuse.
Yeah, diffuse with force.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think that makes sense. Oh, I need an advantage dice. Sorry. There it is. That's the separate one down there.
Oh, so you're harming yourself?
Yes, because that's what it does. Yeah. And that's, oh gosh, needn't have rolled with advantage. Never mind. So that's 11, 12. So on a 10 plus, the situation is safe unless changed significantly. And there is no downside to that. So don't fucking mess with me.
So how Harry puts the fear of the sandstorm into them?
I just look at them. You know, when these don't fucking mess with the sandstorm. That's usually enough.
Yeah, and Eriko smiles and says, "It's always good to know I can count on your hospitality, Yarrick."
Yeah.
Hey. We're all here for something we need. Let's just calm down. See if we can all get something out of this. Nobody needs to die. You don't need to engage those creepy eyes. Let's just calm down here.
Yeah. But you know, Neriko, what the hell? Why did you come with me before? You had such an amazing dealer. You know who my prime clients are, and you point.
Hold your horses. First of all, I don't talk about these matters in front of strangers, and I look at the venue that's sitting by his side. And second of all, I did not take those. I did not sell that medicine. That's in fact that's why. Well, that's what I came here to ask you about.
Well, if you did not sell it, then who did?
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I guess you're also clueless, which is a surprise to me.
Yeah, I've heard many people say that they are selling it, but whenever you try to find out, it just vanished. I knew that will be worth the price in iron to the venue. That's why I wanted to get it, but I have not been able. And
yet here I find a venue in your private quarters.
yeah, I deal with them. You know that. And I am once again, I were not able to provide this mythic medicine. Some people are even beginning to doubt that it exists in the first place.
So, out of character, have we heard of the people getting better from the plague? I think we had, but it's not clear. So it's clear that the treatment is out somewhere there, right?
Well, people have been saying that people have been better, but
Yeah.
it's always people. Nobody can say this person has got killed for the cure, or that person got better. It's always someone.
Mhm.
My cousin told me that he once saw someone that knew a venue that was healed.
Well, my clan is blaming me, as you did, erroneously, about this leak. Supposedly, I solved it on my own, but I didn't. So if we can clear my name, I'm sure we can do a deal with you that in the future we can sell it through you. Can you help me find who did this, and maybe then we can sell it through your capable hands?
Yarik laughs at that. I'm sorry. So you're saying that to prove that you have not been making black deals, you want to actually make a black deal. Did I get this right?
Well, we need to pay you back for all the stuff you've been doing. So it doesn't have to be a black. I mean, it can be. What I'm saying is, it can be a family-wide decision, and not just some renegade taking it and selling it off.
At this point, I think Harry kind of looks at Nerica and kind of turns so that nobody else says, "Do you have permission to offer this deal?"
So I turn sideways also, so my robe is covering my side, so the others can't see me, and say, "Well, I have to clear my name, Harry. I'm sure you will oblige me, and I'm sure we can get something out of this."
Yeah, but he's right about the black market thing. Just saying, he's right about that.
I thought your specialty was inflicting pain and not opening your mouth.
Oh, now, now, remember who your friends are, Nerico.
It's only a black market deal if you get caught.
I'm watching out for the family here.
I do respect that you've come with me, but you're here and you're my friend, and you know that I've been wrongly accused.
I do, but you need to be careful what you are offering, because this could go horribly wrong at either end. I may just be muscle, but there's something about following the money here. Who would be interested in this? Where's the most plague? Well, what? Let's start, digging.
Point taken. And I turn back to the others. You were saying, Benyu, my Benyu friend, whose name I don't even know.
Marsh very pleased to meet you. No one comes into this house to make legitimate trade deals. Surely you Your tough friend understood that.
And yet this treatment is a family, perhaps it's something that our family is not willing to negotiate with. We can deal on, petty little vials, fruit and guns, but this goes beyond that. But go on. Do you have something more specific in mind?
Sometimes all that's needed to do is to find the favors that others can provide for you while you provide them a favor back. What is it that you seek? What did you come here to find?
Listen, I've been screwed over. I need to clear my name, and perhaps there's some personal interests, something personal to be something that I can leverage for myself. But what do you know of the treatment? How is your people dealing with it? Have you had any cases getting better in your camp, in the Bennu camp?
I think Nemo probably visibly stops. He doesn't keep his cool when you say that. He stops getting a little red and sweaty. And you see his grip on the gun become a little tighter.
Nemo. Hold on. I think he was just asking out of good faith, out of concern. I think we can share with him the spread is contained, though we still have those who are sick. Tell me about your name. What happened to impinge your reputation?
Well, I didn't handle an expedition in the right way, out in the highway with the sledgehammers, but that's not why I'm here. The current problem I have is people are because of that older mishap, people are accusing me of incompetence or of this backroom dealings about our treatment.
So you need to deflect blame to someone else, either within or without of the family.
Indeed.
Well, and here it turns. I know just the target. I know you have been far away, but the Billibor family, they live on the Tallwood Spire. They had a scheming pharmacological and drugs merchants, and they tend to be hoarders of this stuff. Maybe, you can pin on them that they've been producing a counterfeit cure and they are the responsible for these rumors. That will destroy them and create a void for more enterprising individuals.
Yourself, you mean?
Of course, but I don't plan to sell the fake stuff. And he turns to Neriko. I plan to sell the real stuff. And I can serve as an intermediary between the two families.
That does sound interesting. Actually, out of character, I think I need to define if the sandstorms ever, if we commercialize something family wide ever, or if we how do we or if we share our advancements with the rest of the settlement. Because this could be either a black market, like something that benefits me, or I wonder if my family does it for. So if I could arrange this for the whole family to go through this black market channel.
Well, you could if you don't make it a black market, because from the read that I get from the Sandstorm, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Sandstorm usually is beyond all this dealing and whatnot. And from the beginning, they actually wanted to use it to get popularity with the community. So they kind of want, but they are very good at creating stuff, but less good on capitulating on them. And we saw especially that last session, which they were ultra helpful, but the sledgehammers took most of the credit. So if you present it that way, they can say, well, yeah, we get what we wanted, and we are left to do proper research while these merchants handle these intermediaries. So I think you could easily convince the family of.
Yeah. So I think I turn to Yarrick and say, arrange a meeting with the. Was he suggesting a meeting with the billboard family, or
actually
blaming
them
already? Blaming already. Yeah. So in return you would want the exclusive distribution of the treatment throughout your channels.
So
I think I have a solution that could benefit both of us, my friend. You have medicine we need. We have great teachers known to provide motivation. And perhaps your society has need of them.
Yeah, so actually we are in need of leadership and morale. Yeah, I think we would be interested in that. So Neriko says, although we are very good in research, we often fight within ourselves. We sometimes lose our path. It would be good to gain confidence in our value in the settlement, and in that way rise. But apart from the teachers, we're also interested in getting more access to the fusion plant that we've shared for long. And actually, now that we're outside of the settlement, you've gained full control of, I hear. But tell me about these teachers. You could provide mentors, or
yes, we have many philosophers who can come, and they have been very beneficial in raising our morale, and which we found to be a very valuable aspect of our culture as we've faced this threat.
Look, I hate to piss at the wedding here, but do either of you have any authority for this kind of negotiation?
Mind your own business, freak.
Oh, go. And now the silent one speaks. Look, we all have a problem. Yeah? You, pointing at the Bennu, have a problem. We have a solution. He, pointing at the middleman, is the middleman. All we need to do is to shift the blame for all this mess from Neriko here to these guys on the spire. Yeah? That means that when we go home, we speak in favor of this deal. Bingo! Everybody's happy. So all we need to do is to nail one of these Billy Bongs to the ground until he admits spreading the rumors, stealing the drugs, selling it on, whatever you like. Take that back. Proof. Nariko's innocent. Nariko's status goes up. Nariko says, yeah, good deal. Benno, happy.
This sounds, this is the goals we're after. Out of character, Yorick, he's the black marketeer? What's his name again?
Yarrick, yeah.
Yarrick. Yarrick, do you have a way of planting evidence that would shift blame from young Noriko's family over to I forget their name, the people we're trying to
well, I believe my friend here was suggesting confession by torture.
Well, I can come with another suggestions if you want.
My ears are open to you, Eric.
Wow.
Slightly disappointed.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sure I can find someone to your attentions if you really insist in torturing someone. But I was thinking, well, maybe if we can plant something that only the Sandstorm has into Billyburg, and then the Sandstorm made the ride on their place of operation, I think nobody will disagree with that.
Can I just switch out a character? I'd like to swap my pain box for the radio rig. We plant a piece of Sandstorm technology in the Billibor location, use the radio rig as evidence that it's there. Bing bong, tick-tock.
Yeah, sounds good.
This plan, I can sell this plan back home.
Okay, so
a few of us need know of Yarrick's involvement.
So let's kind of hurry up and avoid the details of the exact deal between the Bennu and the Sandstorm by using find common ground. So Nerik, roll plus sway, and then we'll see what the Bennu ask immediately to help with this problem. Long term, we know what they want, but I want to see what they are committing to on this framing operation.
Oh my god, that was a 2. Plus 1 3.
Harry is certainly going to help.
Okay, so I will say that the Bennu have no obligation to do this. So if that is the case, then you are owning a personal favor. And I'll say that the Bennu can just get out of this at any moment. They're doing you a favor. This is very one-sided on the contribution.
Okay, so it's also not possible for Harry to aid to bump up the success. Okay.
Can I not try?
Well, the call for aid is so.
Is it call for aid or is it find? Yeah, call for aid. Call for aid.
Yeah.
Failing to roll is say another character nearby can do to boost your efforts if the group agrees. Okay, so the helper rolls. If they have a relevant backstory, they can take advantage. And then it would bump you to a 7. If he succeeds, it would bump you to a 7 to 9.
Okay, do a call for aid then.
I'm struggling to see backstory stepping in to make this with advantage.
No, quick characters don't have backstory.
Right.
5. Sway is 0. Bing bong stiffed.
Yeah, I guess this is going to be done on Bennu's terms.
Okay, so I think our terms are what they were. You know, we want to get the medicine from them, and we're fine pinning all the blame elsewhere. We're perfectly fine with that, with shifting the blame anywhere but us, even if it is outside of the family.
Okay, let's resolve the infiltration attempt as wasteland survival. So one of the four of you rolls wasteland for survival.
This ought to be me or Nemo, oughtn't it? We're the men of action here. What's your steel like, Nemo?
Let's see. 0. So.
Then it's probably me. This is nighttime infiltration, climbing the spire, in through a window. Yeah.
Give it a roll.
What can go wrong? Absolutely nothing can go wrong. 11, 12, 13.
Okay, so pick one of the three. Well, pick one of the two lists.
I think it's always interesting if it turns out that we can't get out the way we got in. So I'll have to wasteland survival us down as well as up. Yeah? As the floor?
Wait, what?
Sorry, wasteland survival on a hit. Pick one. The GM will give you further details. So I'm going for an obstacle or threat is blocking your way back.
Okay, and the other one?
But I think... would it be interesting if we discovered that they were actually the source of this? That they had been stealing this from within somebody else in the Bennu? You know, the discover a secret. Or do you want to go the simple solution, which is a secret path that means we can use this on the way back down? We just don't know that yet. So, table, what do you think? Do you want to really pin this on them, rather than planting some tech and creating evidence of pinning it, or do you want an easy way out?
I like being able to get away safely.
That is such a Bennu thing. Any other views?
I rather like the secret.
Yeah, I have to say, so do I.
So the secret path would mean, without triggering this move,
it means that we got in, but I thought we couldn't go back this way. But the benefit is that once we're in, we discover we can get out this way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm quite tempted by you discover a secret, that is that they are involved in the black market trading of this, and somebody else in the Bennu is supplying them.
Or
Yeah,
maybe they're
sounds
not only
interesting.
that, but they're a wider threat. So they're maybe arming up to threaten the families who trade at Bridgetown, to kind of expand their threat even more than just this small.
Or even these, these grassroots, these crime organizations. Maybe they're becoming a bigger force. Maybe they're working with one of them. But I like the idea that we find something that they were already connected to this.
Maybe they're blackmailing someone inside the family. I don't think we want to build too much. I just want to set them up as a threat towards the end of your series.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
gives
you
us
pick.
Pluto stuff to play with, so
That's
I like
good.
it.
I'm taking the notes. So you infiltrating, and you are able to get into the most secretive warehouses. It's quite easy to plant it. But the moment that you're trying to make your way back, you can hear a soft humming. And you can see familiar lights. They are some of the war drones that you dismantled during the beginning of the first stage, opening the way to the exploration. But it seems that just by sensing the presence of someone outside of schedule, it is activating the war drones that are starting the patrol. As you are forced to stay inside the warehouse, go deeper and deeper, trying to find another thing. But the four of you instead find crate after crate of weapon, of medicine. You also find different synthesizers, and everything is rather impressive. Actually, it's streamlined, uniformed, and this is the kind of capacity that will take one family, maybe two families collaborating. This is a degree of quality that has not been seen since the first stage. They are preparing a takeover, and you'll find letters, correspondence, maps, and you start to find names. You find a note about the training grounds on Megacity 18. You hear about the rations that are being prepared at some place named Treetop, and you hear about where they are hiding all their troops and setting them in motion, in a moving plastic island, whatever that is. And you see samples of the medicine that the Sandstorm have. And you see that they seem to have tortured one of the Sandstorms for these samples. And then they blackmail to keep them cooperating. Otherwise, they will release this to the family. And all of this does not stop on the billboard. Every single damn merchant on this town and above is involved on this. All of them. Every single one of them. They are using all their money to coerce people into going into this doomed plan. They are going to take over the homelands. And if they have more drones like these, they might as well succeed. Or worse yet, take the attention of the storm crawlers and doom every single one, every single person that lives here. So, how do you escape with this information?
So I'm thinking maybe Nemo, maybe he doesn't sacrifice himself, but at least he understands it's vital that this should get out. He says while the drones are sort of circling there, he picks up some of the pieces and sort of trusts them into the hands of sorry, I completely forgot the character's name. Marshall's. Trust him into Marshall's hands, and maybe he also looks respectfully at Harry and Miracle and says, so takes out his guns and says, "Get out! I'll distract them." Let's see, what kind of equipment can I? Maybe he brings out these.
So you'd have your pneumatic gun and your hardened scales.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was these hardened scales. I don't know, maybe it's something they activate, or they sort of they look quite natural, but they when push comes to shove, they activate these scales, sort of make their skins go all stiff, so they become a little less agile, but really tough. And he moves into a position and tries to distract the droids away from the others. And when they see him, he brings out these guns, and you can overhear the silent pneumatic guns.
And we haven't spent much of the special effects budget yet, so I think that sounds really cool.
Yeah. So what? Give me officially assault.
That's 9. So I choose 1. And I guess the avenue of escape for the other guys is clear.
Okay, and I'll say that well, because it's a silent weapon, I would say that nobody else is coming, but I'll say that the situation is civilized and chaos will follow, and you take harm as appropriate. So you take 3 arm from the automatic guns of the drones. You reduce by 2 because of your tough scales. So you take 2 harm, and you manage to create a diversion for the others to escape. So you are still engaging with these drones, and there is chaos everywhere, and you don't know where you are anymore on the warehouse. So what do you do?
He's praying that the others got out safe, and yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to do, but just keep them occupied with him.
Why don't you give me a diffuse with steel?
He maybe takes cover and just keeps firing at them. Steel, yeah. So that's a 7.
Okay, so you get them the time they need to get safe, and pick 1.
There's a cost to securing safety.
So you know that they made out, and you know that there is a way out, but it's going to be straight into their proper spire instead of the warehouse. So you know that if you're gonna escape this place, you're gonna get captured, and you're gonna to be at the mercy of the gilded merchants if you do so.
I'm not sure escape is because now he sees that Marshall's got the medicine out. He thinks about his family and his wife that has got the plague. He is determined to take out these drones and maybe also to put a dent in the plan of the merchants by destroying this. If you can take down the warehouse as well with him to make sure that at least some of their resources are tapped.
Okay, so do one last fiercely assault to really inflict damage.
That's 10.
Okay, so pick one. Actually, pick two.
I inflict savage, terrifying harm, frightening and dismaying my foes. And maybe I scavenge, or maybe I find some new info here on this plan of theirs, so I get one data.
Okay. So you go around, you put more data, but you don't make through. You are managed to transmit just enough information to the venue to give a last farewell, and you blow up the warehouse, bringing down great part of the spire with you. And as it falls down from the bridge into the water, Bridgetown awakens to know that there is a war afoot. And we zoom out. And let's take 10 minutes break. Okay, so as we zoom out, it is time. Oh, okay. Don't forget the venue get one data from the extra information. And then, because Akima was not part, she can choose one of the options from zooming out to represent what Hakima was doing. And while Asbjorn picks, so what happens between the Banyo and the Sandstorm? So the Sandstorm gives their medicine to the Banyo, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, and also we share I think I share, Neriko and Harry, I think we share the information about this other renegade faction that was actually to blame, was really actually to blame about the leak of the treatment, and we give the medicine to the venue. And I also suggest to the Sandstorm Council, if we want to engage into the commercial distribution of this with Yarrick as the mediator, which was the other part of the deal.
Should their mood go up by one since they kind of found some peace internally?
I don't know. We have need for justice, but I don't know. I mean, this was that personal justice for Neriko. I don't know if we, Sandstorm, we have regained our footing in the community. Maybe that would be between an age move later. I don't know. I'm fine either way. If we,
I don't know, because you're -1 on mood, but it seemed like this. I don't know. It's up to you and Ludo, but
the thing is, this will decrease you because you're gonna lose medicine. But you're gonna get a surplus of barter goods, and you're gonna get a surplus on leadership. So that will have the effect of going you up on mood. Because you still don't have justice for all the years of persecution that the Sandstorm got, but this showed Neriko is a capable leader, and also clarified the intrigue in between, and also because now you have you are dependent on them, and if they betray you, you're gonna lose it. But for now, you have barter goods that you are getting from negotiation with the medicine and other technology pieces that you might have. So you'll get these.
So barter goods basically from the venue, the deal with venue.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, barter goods.
Yarrick.
Yeah.
From Yarrick. And then really your leadership need just goes away. You don't get when you gain a surplus on something even needed, they cancel each other.
Yeah, you get the better goods instead.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you get the medicine that they wanted. So, what was it that Akima got?
Yeah, the Hadith have become sort of, if not feral, at least harsh, and have been living on. She sees that this culture that has arisen have got them through the hard times, and now they need some stories to tell each other, and something to look forward to. Maybe that's because now they're traveling around the land. They need some waymarks and some stories to go with them along the way. So she's been scouting for information, trying to get a read on something that might give them some more culture. I'll take one there.
Okay, So get the lead. Question: do the Sandstorm share this information also with the Hadik, or just with the venue? About the Gilded Merchant scoop.
I think we might want to, if the Hadik, I'm thinking if the Hadik have something that we'd like in exchange for information that we would barter on. So I think we're trying to capitalize on the info with them.
Okay, so
maybe is that diplomacy or?
Yeah, that would be. You will be asking them to call in a debt, so you will be giving. They will need to burn a treaty with you to get this information if they want.
Okay, so not calling the opposite of calling a debt, which is called something else.
Yeah, so maybe we, while gathering information, we notice that something is up with the venue and the Sandstorm, and we're not party to it yet, but we send out our caravans and remind them about the bond we once used to have and how we acted in concert before to each other's benefits. So I'll spend one treaty to get them to back me up, maybe, with this information.
You've got a huge amount of treaty with the Bennu.
Yeah.
Who know the same things. Just say.
Well, the question is, whoever you are using the treaty on, do they use treaty to refuse or not?
It's true that I'll spend it on the Bennu. Maybe then it's a little harsher. It's reminding them that they used to be a part of us and to respect that we led them to what we were, what they are now. They wouldn't be alive without our harsh but fair temperance. That would also set you up for actually spending treaty to just flat out deny the information, I guess.
So yeah, the Hadik, I think, even ignore our call for a meeting, and they just go through the venue. Maybe that would. That's what happens, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe exactly. Maybe we get the call for a meeting with the Sandstorm, but then we sort of whip information out of the venue before we commit to that meeting, at least.
So I think I'd spend a treaty to to avoid that.
Okay. Do you keep throwing treaty to try to pressure them?
Maybe because you requested a meeting. Is that what you said? Vasilis?
Sorry.
The Sandstorm requested a meeting with us, and we tried to figure out. Of course, we take that meeting, and maybe no, there's no fine common ground. Yeah, maybe I think we'll spend one treaty on the Sandstorm as well to try to get a read on what they want.
So do I acquire a treaty from the Hadik if I share this information? That was the goal originally, so that I have more.
Actually, no.
Or he spends the Hadik spend one treaty that they already have with me. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's going to the meeting, and we take the meeting, and we see that we remind you that we used to work for them together. But I guess treaty could also represent you sort of calling in, saying that, oh, now we have something for you, and so you hold on. The Hadik's hold on the sandstorm is less now.
And you can burn treaty on your own to reject this.
So in effect, they're willing to burn treaty on us. I still think of us as us. And you get to tell them what you wanted to tell them anyway.
Yes. So the sound. So yeah. So the Hadik will decrease. Yeah, I think so. So we let that happen. So they lose one treaty on us, and we share the info. Yeah, I think that's fine with me. Yeah.
So you learn that, and you learn a clue about something else. You hear rumors of a community of people that, just like the sandstorm before, they are living in their own private enclave. There is rumors about them performing hunts and rides for sport. And the few unreliable reports, they talk of them as being heavily modified, but somehow they also seems to maintain some sort of culture beyond human, a new way of being. And the word that they use it for them by the scavengers of the wastelands is, they call them by the sound of their usually quiet vehicles. They call them the Zoomers. And there is rumors that they exist there, and that perhaps you can find a way to develop a transhuman culture while still remaining just as powerful as you are now.
Yeah. So I think the council that Hakima has gathered like two or three other members of her family that are really they're most at the front of this modification and this harsh society that they've become now. They resolved to send Hakima to the Zoomers to learn of their ways, and perhaps also forge some new alliances now that they see their hold on the other factions lessen.
So, what would you say? Are you trying to call in a bet of someone to learn more about the boomers, or something else? Or conduct diplomacy?
It could be conduct diplomacy, maybe, or it could also be a quick zoom in on this mission, of course, because she is basically trying to find some common ground and to learn something from this new. It's up to you.
First, let's start to see how diplomacy goes. So, say what you want from who you calling on.
Yeah, perhaps it could be information on opportunity. Then we and Chin. genuinely want to learn how could they sort of temper their harsher traits of their culture. Maybe we're not allies yet, so we probably have to call on the Benetton, because now we know that they figured something out about this place they call the treetop, and we want to know what they might have figured out about this the Zoomers.
Okay, so roll plus reach.
That's 5.
So the venue are giving you the cold shoulder, and you are not able to get the meeting that you want. But that is not without cost, as you are seen to be getting an interest in the Zoomers. There is a strange, you cannot really describe it other than an attack. It starts with a sudden discovery of more mosquitoes laying eggs in the crops. And at first, you don't think much about it. But suddenly, there are entire swarms of them clenching and killing your animals. And this plague you managed to contain, but not before it claims most of your livestock for the year. And mercifully, somehow the nematodes that you have in your blood kill the mosquitoes that bite the members of the Hadig, and they saved you the same fate. So you lose your livestock surplus. And this happened just because the Hadik started to make questions about the Zoomers. This is clearly, and when you capture the mosquitoes and you study the samples, you're sure these are engineered animals and targeted to, well, exactly to your lineage that you designed. Someone that is just as competent at genetic manipulation attacked you. And you heard about the gilded merchants, but if what the sandstorm told you is true, they were playing an armored coup, but they can synthesize medicine, but nothing on the report suggests that they have such means to mount such an attack. Can it be the Zoomers?
Yeah, so Hakima calls the caravans together at their one of their usual sanctuaries. They probably have multiple caravans. They meet up at these predetermined places, and she gathers all the best movers and shakers, and she tries to figure out the truth behind this. Basically, I'm shooting for the uncover secrets move, and I'll spend 2 of my data.
Okay, roll for it.
I still got a 6.
Do you ask for the help of a family on this?
Yeah, we need to, right? We can't figure this out by ourselves. The sledgehammers are all gone. If we thought to get some help to take the Zoomers by force, but maybe the banner have something to, or maybe this is probably a sandstorm. It's an enclave job, right? So we reach out to them, try to get their angle on these weird mosquitoes.
We're happy to help for a price, or actually we are interested in the this look very specific, like very sophisticated bioengineered samples. Do I need to do is this like call for aid, or is this a different?
This is land aid.
Land aid.
It's a bit different. So yeah, you have to roll. And the thing is, what are you asking from them for the aid?
Yeah, I don't know if if you're asking for scholars to help analyze these mosquitoes, or is it something about exploring an area or something else?
Yeah, I think it's we're trying to. So maybe we're trying to get you to retro engineer these mosquitoes to find out who made them, and how we can get back at them or identify them.
Okay, so it's still a roll plus treaty, although the action is more a lore action, but I can roll with plus treaty. Okay, I do that. Ooh, a 6. We're all failing. And I think this exposes me even worse than that. On a 7 to 9, what happens on a failure? A land aid doesn't describe what happens.
Yeah, that's when I get to use my hard moves.
Maybe the mosquito fits your family as well.
I think so.
Yeah, because that's the thing. They were protected because they had the nematodes. You don't. And suddenly it seems that it's not your cattle that starts suffering, but it's your people. And suddenly more and more about of the sandstorm start to be killed by this. So you need recruits. And there seems to be a bit of a panic spreading around the homelands, because it was one thing that it was the cattle of the Hadik that were dying, but now it's jumping to humans. Now the people of the sandstorm are dying, and there starts to be rumor mongering going around, and people are starting to blame again the sandstorm for this evil. This did not happen before they came.
I should have listened to Harry. Just don't deal with strangers. Just keep it inside. Just the enclave of estranged scholars. But I wanted to do some good for the settlement. So serves me right.
So the Ben, you are seeing the fortunes of the other two families worsening. So how do they capitulate from this? Because they managed to deliver a blow to an enemy that they did not know that they had between the Martians, and they now see the Hadik and the Sandstorm suffering from some nonsense from mosquitoes. Idiots. You live in saltwater. You don't have to deal with mosquitoes. They should just move underneath the waves.
I think we're going to offer them assistance.
Who?
I think. Oh, that's a good question.
That's a lot of treaty to add to a roll to lend aid.
I think the sandstorm. I think we will lend aid to them.
Okay, roll plus treaty and tell us how you help them.
Okay, let's do the roll first. I'm going to roll with advantage since I have a hold to use up this session. And I'll be adding +4, which is good that I did. I rolled with advantage. I got an 8. So on an 8, so we're exposed to some of their damages or unforeseen consequences. Okay, so we give some of our breathing apparatus to a segment of their population and let them settle temporarily while this threat is looming, to keep them safe. Maybe like the non-warriors and the scholars and things like that. It's up to obviously the player to determine.
Now does that give Sandstorm fleeting advantage on something?
Yes. It'll give them fleeting advantage, but it's up to Ludo. My family's either exposed to danger, retribution, or unforeseen consequences.
And the question is,
very good at coming up with unforeseen consequences.
Well, the question is, what are they going to do with that fleeting advantage?
Yeah.
I think Sandstorm have an opportunity here to establish themselves as the honest broker. So the nice thing about calling a debt, it doesn't involve a dice roll. And I think it might be worth spending some treaty with both the Bennu and the Hadik in order to gain +2 on a move that targets them. Yeah. So spend a treaty on each. That gives +2 on a move with each of them and fleeting advantage on one of those rolls. And then I think use conduct diplomacy to get everyone on the right side. Which, if it goes really well,
assuming they don't spend treaty to counter it.
Indeed, but if any of the other factions want to advance into the apocalypse alone, that's fine. But it would at least give some fictional positioning for a coherent approach to what seems to be threats coming out of the woodwork left, right, and center.
So it would be we're trying to basically gather all 3 factions into a big council so that we face the common threat of the mosquitoes or the boomers or whatever it is.
Because we've got a decent relationship with the Bennu after that last zoom in. We know the Bennu and the Hadik have got difficulties, so Sandstorm position themselves as the go-betweens.
That's good. Yeah, that's good with me. Do I need to find what we? I guess I need to find what we want out of the diplomacy, like the council. Do we just need to make a? I might try to convince them to convince everyone to make an expedition, or are we trying to perhaps found a research like a emergency research center to counter the mosquitoes. I'm open to ideas. I mean, from players, and then the Sandstorm will initiate it. What would be the diplomacy about? What is the council? The purpose of the council specifically?
Well, when I started this, I was thinking, is there a connection between the Zoomers and the Gilded Merchant coup? Where are the Zoomers? We've got a couple of locations, Megacity, I forget the number, Treetop, and the moving plastic island were all found in the papers. So, this might be the preamble to a Zoom in next session that tries to find one of those
Yep. Yeah.
Fictional positioning for the next coherent move.
Yeah, we have to research that. Okay, so I'm good with spending 1 treaty on each, and then bringing everyone together. For to convince them to start investigating as a united front.
Okay, so you spend treaty to get the +2. Does anyone counter it?
Yes.
I don't. The Bennu does not.
So would these be 2 separate diplomacy rolls, one for each faction?
I think so, because if you spend treaty on either of them, you get +2 on both the rolls, and
Because
one of them is with advantage.
Right, and normally conduct diplomacy is just against, or not against, but towards a single family.
Yeah, so if you get 2...
You've got 2 rolls, and one of them has fleeting advantage. Presumably the other one, you wouldn't necessarily need to use the fleeting advantage with us, but it's up to you. It's your choice when you use it.
Okay, so I spend 1 on each. Do the Haddock counter it?
Nope.
And just to be clear, when we say we counter, you mean I already spent 1, and you spend another 1 to counter the effect. Is that right? That's what we mean, right? If that would.
That's if we counter it. So we have the option of either countering it, or we can actually try a hold together roll. But in this case, we're both accepting.
Okay, and diplomacy is plus treaty, or is it plus?
It's plus reach.
Reach. Okay. Reach.
So you're rolling with +3 on the first one, and then 3 dice with +3 on the second one.
Correct. So so my reach is 1. Sorry, so I get +2 with each. So 3. Okay, +3 and then +3. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's do the first one. Let's do the first one, the one without advantage. This is on the meeting with the venue. So +3. I have an 11. So I think the venue are on board. Let me see. Do I have to choose something?
I think you should.
You get appointed data.
So you get data.
Oh, from diplomacy. Okay, conduct diplomacy.
And so I guess you give. Say which of your allies.
You on a 10+. That's it.
Yeah, on a 10+, that's it. The rest is the 7 to 9 condition. You're right. Thanks.
Which I think we're looking at the wrong move. Which move? We're doing conduct diplomacy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, 1 data. Okay. Yeah. So I get them on I get them on our side, and
so the Bennu are at the table.
Yep. Added data, and now I roll with advantage and +3 with a Haddock. Yeah, it's 14 actually. Yeah.
More data.
I wonder what the data. So from the Haddock, I can picture its data about the disease from the mosquitoes. From the Bennu, do you have any? I guess I can define the data when I use it, right?
That's the lovely thing about this mechanic.
Yeah, that's the good thing of keeping it abstract. So,
okay, so everyone is on the same page.
Basically, you manage to, on a neutral location, you get VIPs of all the families, and you get to decide the crisis of these biological attacks. So the three families are determined to discover the truth about this. So what happens now at this meeting?
I think perhaps the best scholars of the Sandstorm and of the Hadik and the Bennu, they will research the mosquitoes we have, but I think we should also have an expedition to these locations. Was it Mega City 18 or Treetop? That's the second option. And the third one is if we need to verify that the merchants are not part of the equation here, are not to blame. I don't know if we've ruled that out. It seems they're not connected to the boomers, so perhaps that's the least priority.
As an alliance now, we have 6 or 7 data between us. We could just be uncovering secrets to answer some of those questions, and then you know something before you go exploring. You know, what's the truth behind the Zoomers, for instance?
Yeah, and when someone is using their data, the others can try to lend aid to give them advantage when they uncover secrets.
Let's do it.
So I have. Do I have the most at this point? Data? I can roll plus data for uncover secrets. So
before that, who has? Yeah. So yeah, just let's resolve the move. Who has most treaty with the Sandstorm? Please roll and 8.
Bennu.
Okay.
That's me, and I'm going to roll. I rolled a 4 plus
2.
Plus,
So
plus 2, so 6.
Okay, so roll.
So you have 4?
No, 4 treaty plus 4. 4 treaty with Sandstorm.
8, yeah.
Okay, then it works. So okay, so roll with advantage.
The Bennu again.
No, I think Sandstorm. You've lent aid to the Sandstorm
Right,
to uncover secrets.
Right.
okay, so advantage, but also plus data.
The amount you want to spend, so you can pick how much you want to spend.
Okay, so okay. Advantage. Tempted to just to spend 1, but maybe that's bit of a risk.
I would just do 1. You're already plus 2, right?
We have an advantage, but I'm not plus 2, am I?
No.
No.
No, you have advantage, so.
Okay, let's spend.
Spend 2.
Let's spend 2. Yeah, I think it's safer because this is a critical moment. So let's see. Okay, so it's 11. Yeah, so it's 13. I didn't need it in retrospect, but it's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so ask one.
Uncover secrets. Who? Well, we could ask what's the truth behind the boomers. I think.
Or the mosquito.
Yeah. Or so what do we do? What do we want to ask? The mosquitoes, because then the truth might be that they are connected to the boomers.
Yeah, you learn that the mosquitoes are indeed, you compare the different alleles and you are able to pinpoint to one of the distant most mountain ranges of the wastelands. That from your studies, it's probably coming from there. It's a modified native species there. And you figure out that the Zoomers, by the stories and legends that have been gathered by the Hadik, this fits their modus operandi. So you get a feeling that on those distant mountain ranges, there is still an enclave of molecular biologists. And now you have a second question, or you can pick one of those 3 options.
What about a place to shelter from harm on the way to those mountains?
I'm fine with that. Yeah, that sounds could be useful on the way, because I think we will have to send an expedition.
And you find out that one of the train stations, there will seem to be a line that will go directly there, that seem to be based for the wealthy, some kind of sweeper loop of a sort. And you find out that that place, being completely useless already before the fall, it's probably abandoned and safe, and there are probably no killer robot drones there. So you have this tunnel network that can probably take you there, which probably explain why the Zoomers deployed their insects without sending their trademark vehicles. And I think we wrap up like this, knowing very well two threads. Yeah, and the truth about the mosquitoes is that gilded merchants are not involved. Okay, so letting you all be free because you're already stretching past the time. Nice playing with everyone. Have a nice rest of the Sunday. Are you guys okay with me uploading this? Okay.
Absolutely.
See you around.
Been a pleasure as always, guys. Bye now.